All right, have and have not fans, this will be my review for season 8, episode 5, entitled A Little Bird. Just a heads up, I was asleep. I'm sorry. I passed out like at 6 o'clock, or it was a little after. Yeah, it was either around 6 or after 6. I woke up at 10:45. I'm like, damn it. I had a long day. Walmart trip early in the morning, got back working on some stuff, took a short nap, and then I just passed out. I was exhausted because I began working on getting the DVDs ready for shipment today. There are at least 30 of them I have to give out, and I just passed out. So now I'm awake. I'm like, damn it, I missed the episode. So I just watched it, and this took my notes and everything. I feel bad because in one of my recent uploads, I think it was the one where I talked about the sneak peek of the episode where Tanner goes to Veronica. I'm like, yeah, I'll be live tweeting down live stream. I didn't do it. To be kind of honest, aside from a couple of scenes, there really wasn't too much to talk about in the live stream. Not to say I didn't want to do it, but you know, it would have been nice. My bad. This was a decent episode. It wasn't bad. I thought it did a good job of setting things up. We got some tidbits about little details such as Veronica's loan and things like that. But yeah, this was definitely one of the better episodes. Honestly, I just finished watching. I don't even know what to score it, so I'll probably save it for the end of the review. So before going forward, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon, and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So we pick up where we left off with Jim threatening Hannah about the executor position and the fact that, okay, Hannah isn't scared. She's not going to call the police. She's not going to call Benny. She ain't scared of no Jim. So they're just going to talk. So Jim got the nerve to just climb into the bed with her instead of just sitting in that chair. But I guess it's like a power move, if you will. It's like, oh, well, if you're not scared of me, then fine. I'm not scared of you. I'll just climb in the bed with you. And long story short, Hannah's just sick of Jim shit. And then the fact that, oh, you're threatening me, but you do realize if I die, it's in my will that everything I have goes to my children. And Jim is like, well, see, you don't have anything. He's like, nope. I got the power of attorney. I'm the executor, so all Katherine stuff that you claim is yours actually belongs to me. So if anything happens to me, you're going to have to deal with my children, who both have kicked your ass as well as I did. So what are you going to do? So he pretty much is like, oh, okay, fine, I'll deal with your kids too. And like, okay, Jim, if you ever come up in here again like you just did, I'll blow your brains out, and I won't miss like Wyatt did. And then this fool gets up to go and is like, okay, maybe next time I'll leave a little something on your pillow. And do you want the door open or closed? I don't know why, but that line cracked me up. It was just so ridiculous, but I loved it. It's like, do you want the door open or closed? She lets out a laugh, and he closes the door on the way out. I'm not going to lie. I like this scene. This was a good opening to the episode. So after the theme song, Jim walks outside of the house and calls Don. So it looks like it was Don, not John, who's the one who's going to come over to talk with Hannah. Also, when he actually comes over to the house, I noticed that he kind of looks like Oscar in the face a little bit. And I'm like, that's something I've always said about this show in particular. Whenever Tyler Perry writes off or kills off a character, he generally replaces them with a similar looking character. I mean, it's just something I've noticed a lot. Like, for example, Alyssa, kind of like Erica. Melissa was a mixture of Amanda, with the whole pregnancy storyline. And, well, no, I think Gia was a interesting substitute. But, yeah, I'm getting off topic. Let's get to it. So the next scene here is, Jim calling Don. And apparently there's a guy named Lewis Miles who both Jim and Don did a little, I guess you could say, illegal activity in order to swap the estate. And I love how Don's like, no, we. It's like, I think there's some static on the phone. Basically, Jim's trying to put it all on Don, saying that, look, give me this $500,000 tonight or I'm going to take you down. Basically, the dirt that Jim knows about Don will be used against him and lock him up if he can't secure the $500,000. Which is ridiculous because, once again, if Jim wasn't such an asshole and talked to Hannah in the sense that, okay, I recognize I've effed up many times with you, but I could really use your help. Is there any way I can get $500,000? It's like Jim is doing, so he's just being so extra, like Teddy Riley at the Versus battle with Babyface. if you would just respectfully talk with Hannah, I'm pretty damn sure that she would talk with Katherine to get clearance to give him the $500,000, but instead it's just him being an asshole, giving threats and whatnot, instead of just taking the money. It's like Jim will try to do $500,000 worth of illegal activity just to get the $500,000, and all he has to do is simply treat Hannah like a human, ask her for the $500,000. And once again, I'm pretty damn sure she would get the clearance from Katherine to get the approval, even though Katherine has made it clear that if you need anything at all, you have to ask Hannah. So I feel like, Katherine would allow it, but Jim just isn't being reasonable. That's honestly what it boils down to. It's kind of funny to look at all the antics he's going through, but it's also just pretty damn dumb if, he treated Hannah like a person. So it's like, I don't know what's worse. The fact that he has to resort to, it's like he refuses to ask Hannah himself, but he will gladly go over to her multiple times, threaten her, say, that power doesn't belong to you. And he could easily have the money in less than 24 hours if he simply asked, but whatever. So we go over to Katherine and Gina back at the jail. Kendrick shows up to tell her that Wyatt is okay. And Katherine, I actually liked her in this episode a lot. So basically, she's like, okay, he's like, hey, is there anything else I can do for you? I need one more phone call in the morning. And she's like, I understand. I'm like, whoa, Katherine's being reasonable? She isn't like, I need a phone call right now, Kendrick. I will wire you the money. It's like, oh, okay, I understand. Let's see how long that lasts, because Katherine and Benny are kind of in the same boat with me, where they have a episode where they are just so likable, but then in the next episode, they're back to their desperate or annoying self. So I really like Katherine in this episode. So after the cop leaves, I think the public defender comes in to talk with Gina, saying that, hey, we're working on it. We'll get you out of here, but there's a restraining order against you placed by your husband, and you can't see the kids. And Katherine's like, who are you? No, I'm sorry. I was being a bit ignorant there. It's like, what's your name? I'm the public defender. Well, hi, public defender. I'm Katherine Cryer. Yeah, you're fired. Wait, what? Yeah, you're fired. I got her back. And then she just leaves. And Gina's like, well, I can't afford your help. What are you doing? It's like, don't worry about it. I got you. So they talk a little again, basically about the whole thing about how you remind me of my daughter. Don't worry. You don't have to pay for it. And, I thought we were going to get some interesting insight about the Amanda thing, but I don't think Katherine was going to say anything we didn't already know. Or should I just say the hardcore fans who know the series inside and out? Because Gina was curious about, what was going on. It's like, she was troubled. I don't want to talk about it. Oh, how many children you have? I got one now, Wyatt. He's troubled too. Is he okay? He's in the hospital, but I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Apparently Gina has 2 daughters. I thought, yeah, she has 2 girls. And, Katherine just tells her, hey, just thank you because you give me a purpose and a reason to fight. And I did like the line where she's like, look, I just feel like if nothing else, if I can help one person, perhaps when my time comes, it will grant me a little bit of mercy, because I'm thinking to myself, once again, it is great to see Katherine like this, but she belongs behind bars because she killed the district attorney. She killed Jennifer Salison in cold blood. So love her or not, Katherine deserves to be locked up. But this was a good scene nonetheless. And then we go over to Landon. He's calling Oliver's phone, and Oliver eventually picks up. And basically, Landon wants to talk with Charles. And Oliver, I get the fact that he was annoying and everything, but he was honestly being, reasonable, because Charles did make it clear in the last episode, hey, I'm about to get a massage. I don't want to be disturbed for anything. And then it's like, he wants to talk to me. So it's like, Charles eventually comes out, takes the phone, talks with Landon about the whole situation. Basically, Landon was able to get no answers out of Candace. Basically, there wasn't really much to talk about. So then Charles is like, when are you coming back? Well, can I get at least just one more day to work on this? Because I know you two will be great together. Charles reluctantly agrees because, how long? I don't want to be here this much longer with this kid. And I'm like, oh, damn. Because he's like sitting right there. And it's like, why can't I fire him again? I'm like, damn. Oh, yeah, his parents are loaded. Fine. Okay. So then he gives the phone back to Oliver and he's like, why is the phone so sticky, Candy? I don't think I want to know why it's sticky, so I'm just going to avoid that question or that topic altogether. So from there, Charles just basically says, hey, whenever Landon calls, let me know. No matter what I'm doing, let me know. Okay. And then it's like, oh, sir, Gretchen called. I don't care. Oh, did you tell her I was here? Yeah. Mind your own business. Okay. And it's like, you know what? Have the rest of the night off. So Oliver just walked away like a dog with his tail, between his legs. And I'm not saying I'm taking Oliver's side, but I honestly don't feel bad for Charles here because if you remember, he had Landon fired because of that one news story that Landon wasn't able to stop the presses on. And it's like, well, Charles, you're the one that fired Landon, even though Landon was originally the same in terms of Oliver trying to convince you that Candace Young was a bad idea. So then when the story blew up in your face, then you got mad at Landon and fired him. And now you have to deal with Oliver. So I don't feel bad. And then from there, let's see here. He goes in for the massage. I don't know who the actress portraying the masseuse was, but she is beautiful. She puts the towel up as Charles undresses and gets on the table, and she's a bit of she was having a little diarrhea of the mouth. But oh, you have a beautiful home, your beautiful children, and a woman. Which one? I'm thinking, damn, Charles. Candace Young. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, okay. And basically, she just kind of keeps going on, but she is massaging his what is it like from his thigh to his loin or something. Basically notices a lot of tension and says, you need sex. The hell, what kind of what's her phone number? So in any case, she kind of goes down. It's like, I can handle it. And I'm like, okay, is this a setup or something like that? Like in those situations, like, where like, for example, like a celebrity or an athlete after a big game or a press conference, they'll go back to their hotel room and they open the door and there's a woman on the bed. Is this one of those situations where, oh, I'm a masseuse, but I want to do the president-elect? I'm like, oh, so this is what a happy ending is. Again, what's her phone number? So she starts to do stuff that apparently can't be shown on screen. And she stops like, hey, you know what? You're in love with her. You need to be with her. That's why you're, tense like this. Is like, you know what? Just, I want to forget about her. Keep doing what you're doing. You sure? Yeah. So, rawr. All right. So Don goes over to Hannah's house. And when she opens her door, he just walks on in and says, can I come in? Well, you already are. Which I'm like, thank God they did not do what they did a couple weeks ago with Celine and Veronica, where she went in and out of the house like 3 times. So, long story short, hey, 2 things, Mrs. Young. Jim Cry needs $500,000. No. Basically tells him off about the whole thing about, hey, I know how you look at me. I know what you think about me. Because remember, Hannah's been a maid for a while. She's been working for white people. So the way that Don looks at her is a look that she isn't unfamiliar with. You think I'm just a dumb maid. You think I'm stupid. But you're going to show me respect. And and then basically he leaves because, obviously if he can't get anything on Jim, then, ain't no need of being there. So he's about to leave. Like, wait, what's the second thing? Veronica Harrington's loan. $54 million mortgage on her rehabilitation facilities. Holy crap. Look, I thought when it was established a few seasons ago by Katherine that Veronica was in debt, I thought it was because of her lavish lifestyle and whatnot, like the houses, the clothes and whatnot. I didn't know it was in regard to her rehab facilities. I thought that was stuff she had already, taken care of financially. But no, $54 million? What the hell? You know what? Remember the whole the storyline where it seems like Veronica might be playing dead, if you will? The fact that she's going to set up Laura to be killed by the Hood. And I'm like, I wonder how that's going to play out, because if Veronica is killed and the thugs and all think she's dead, Veronica Harrington is a big name in Savannah. So you would think that if Veronica Harrington was quote unquote dead, wouldn't she like play dead by putting on a different persona or something like that? I mean, with all the personality she has, I'm pretty sure she can think of something and go underground, because you would think that her playing dead or faking her death, if you will, would be a way for her to get out of these loans. I mean, that's something to really think about, but $54 million. Holy crap. So similar to everything else, is like, hey, I will talk with Katherine and I'll get back to you soon. It's like, when will I know? I will let you know. And hey, the next time you come over here, you're going to wait till allow you to come in instead of walking in? Oh, yes, ma'am. And I'm like, I just like that moment. That was Hannah, really putting her foot down. I like that. So we have dinner with the restaurant between Benny, Mitch, and Candace. And this was a bit of a cute scene, but it kind of went on a little bit too long. But let me just hop over to Charles's house real quick. Oliver and Gretchen, they're outside of the front. Basically, Oliver apologizes because, Charles doesn't want to see her. And it's like, don't worry, hey, I'll make him see you. It'll happen. So you want to go get something to drink? So basically, he invites her over to her place. So that was pretty funny. Well, yeah, we go back to the dinner, and Benny's mad about how Landon got sent over there. Basically just mad about the president-elect dude. And Candace is like, I don't want to talk about it. She goes up to use the restroom. Mitch tells Benny to be a bit more sensitive when it comes to, hey, your sister's going through a lot right now. You can be a bit more reasonable. And Benny's like, hey, I know my sister. So, yeah, he's actually pretty right. He's like, hey, don't tell me how I should feel because that's my sister. Like, love him or hate him, he actually has a solid point there. But then he pretty much is like, wait, what's going on? Why are you so, involved with Candace? Like, I love your sister. Let me find out you like her and everything. And it's like, so Candace comes back to the table. And the fact that Mitch is like, oh, I ordered for you. I got chicken. Oh, chicken's perfect. And he's like, wait, what's going on here? What? It's just chicken. And not to sound stereotypical, but I'm like, black people tend to like, but let me put it this way. I really prefer the, I don't really like the bougie chicken. What I mean by bougie is the bait. Look, I always think about like going to church, during the days when I would usher and everything. So like at the end of service, sometimes they would have food in the basement. So we would go down in line and they would always have the first thing is a tray of fried chicken. Usually 2 trays where it's like one tray has like the legs, the thighs, well, like the legs and basically like the smaller parts, the wings and the legs. And then the other tray will have like the breast and the thighs. And then the third tray will be the baked chicken because obviously, in a black, I'm not saying just a black church, but again, I went to a black church. In a church like that, there are a lot of older people. So yeah, in the church, my home church, there's a way more older people than younger people. Like my generation was like the last young generation. So, obviously, a lot of older people meant that they couldn't eat a lot of the same foods, hence why they had the baked chicken as an option. And I always thought to myself, I'm going to just eat fried food until I can't. It would suck if I ever get to the point where I just can't eat it anymore. But I'm thinking to one time where I went to a leadership conference in DC, my first time in the Capitol. That was during my college years. I was the only black person at the seminar. That was like over the weekend, except the black girl showed up the next morning because her bus or whatever got there late from Texas. We still talk. That's a story in itself, but let's get back to this one. And I'll never forget the first night we got there, and I was at a table with some other people. We were just talking and everything, from different states. I know I'm rambling, but follow me on this one. So we have dinner that night, and they had like these. It was just chicken and everything. Like on the Food Network, or these restaurants is like. Or on the Travel Channel where they have like these restaurant episodes where they go to different places and then they'll put out a plate and it's like, this plate is $85 and it's like just one generic piece of chicken and 2 string beans. And then it has like this like sauce that's kind of spread over the plate like it's a decoration and a piece of parsley. That's $85. That's how it felt when they were putting out the dinner. And I remember this black waitress or waiter. Well, she was a female. I know it's weird because it's like, well, it's proper to call actresses actors and what. Basically, it was a server at the hotel, and she put out the plates and everything. And I remember when they went around to take up the plates, and she saw my plate was barely touched, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It's like, no offense, bro. No offense taken, brother. I understand because we had this like black understanding that we both prefer like fried chicken over some baked mess. So when Mitch was like, said, hey, I ordered the chicken for you. And Candace like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, it wouldn't have been fine with me. It better have been fried or something like that. Again, I'm sorry to go on that tangent, but honestly, I'm having a little bit of fun reviewing this episode. I can't remember the last time I've been energetic talking about the haves and the have-nots. So there we go. So Benny is once again, wait, what's going on here? It's like, it's just chicken. And then we go back to high school because Candace pokes fun about the fact that, look, you weren't the brightest. You were a bit slow in high school putting things together. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? It's like, remember when I told you what I did in high school? wait, what? And Mitch is curious too. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, is this in regards to sex or conning people or what's going on here? And Benny being slow, I'll get it is playful, but it is a bit hurtful when you think about to season one Benny, because look, we've all been saying Benny's been slow after he came off a life support in the hit and run situation. But you go back to season one, it's like Benny being slow, if you will, was in regards to how he wasn't able to see Candace for who she really was. Like, oh, you almost made Mama lose the house because I took out the mortgage to get you the help you needed to get your son back and this and that. So long story short, I honestly thought that they were going to tell Benny that they used to mess around or date in high school. And that's confirmed because I was mentioned back in like season 3. But no, they don't tell him. And then the situation switches over to, so, okay, Benny, you worried about me? How many women you slept with? No comment. How many women have you slept with, Mitch? Ooh, this cocktail's good. Or how many men you slept with, Candace? When they come with the plates. So it was a cute scene for what it was. I ain't gonna lie. Again, Tinka Sumner's smile just lights up the room. So that's probably why I felt the way I felt. So we move on to Veronica and Tanner. And okay, so basically Veronica wants Tanner's help with getting Colby. Hey, you bring him over to my house and you can do whatever you want with him. And I'm thinking to myself, Tanner's going to need some help since Colby kicked his ass before. It's funny how that was never brought into the situation. But basically, Tanner's like, hey, I'll get some guys and arrange it because Colby knows what I look like. He knows what I sounds like. He knows what I sound like. But there was an interesting twist here because just like Veronica, Tanner is in denial about this. I guess you could say that because even Veronica said one time that if I were a man or if I had the strength, I would beat the gay out of you to Jeffrey. That's kind of what Tanner's like with Justin, because Tanner was under the assumption that, oh yeah, well, my brother wasn't the way he was until your son came around. I'm like, you mother, when he was a kid in high school, when he was in the locker room with that boy, it's like, whatever. So basically Tanner assumes that Jeffrey's the reason Justin the way he is, but Veronica like shuts that shit down. It's like, no, you read that file. And two of the informants, because you're a police officer, two of the informants, were two of the victims who were in the back of Justin's car and he assaulted them. So once you call them and find out and learn I'm telling the truth, which I am, you better not say that shit again. I like that. That was great. So yeah, Veronica got the receipts. She got the file folder with all the names of the various people that Justin has assaulted in the back of the car. So from there, let's see here. Landon is waiting on Candace outside the elevator, and Benny and Candace go into the room, and we got Mitch and Landon. And Mitch pretty much puts his arm on Landon's shoulder. He's like, why are you flirting with me? You're straight. Yeah, I'm straight, but don't get it twisted. This is a threat, meaning that I'll throw your ass out of this window. Okay. So long story short, Mitch is trying to tell Landon what it is. Candace ain't interested in Charles, but basically Landon's like, well, yeah, see, here's the thing. He loves her. I don't care. I do too. So basically, Mitch is trying to insinuate that him and Candace are a thing. And it's like he switches up like, well, whether or not we're dating is none of your business. But if this president-elect loves her, then he's going to have to step to me. And then Landon's like, well, he's a president-elect. He doesn't just step to you. I'm not going to lie here. I'm not going to say Charles would easily lose, but I'm not saying that Mitch would have a easy go of it. That's all I'm saying. Like, look, don't get me wrong. Mitch is tall and strong, but Nick Shigar, the actor that portrays Charles, he's a martial artist in real life. I think Charles could, I'm not going to say who could kick whose ass. All I can say is I don't think Charles would go down as easy as Mitch assumes. That's all I'm saying. But in any case, yeah, I know you're a Malone and everything, but yeah, Mitch. Look, I get it because it's like, what, he's like 5'8", 5'4", whatever he said Charles's height is. But I'm just saying you shouldn't underestimate him. That's all I'm saying. So in any case, let's see. Sister dating. Okay, but Landon is like at that point, he's like, okay, please don't get offended, but you're just a tall, handsome man, beautiful. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. And this was a pretty interesting, this was like an odd scene to sit through, but at the same time, it was actually pretty good. The fact that Mitch openly took the compliment, he wasn't offended, and he's like, "Would you like to get a drink with me?" "Sure, why not? Hotel bar? Let's do it." And Landon is like, "Wait, I think this is set up. You know what? Never mind." It's like, no. You got me thirsty. Let's go downstairs, have a drink. It's like, you're not offended at all? Like, I'm not being punked or anything? Look, you're a human. I'm a human. We'll go down and have a drink. That was a very good scene. It did get a bit awkward when they're staying in the elevator and Landon kind of looks him up and down. And I'm like, okay, Landon, you're kind of playing it up a bit too thick. Like, it's a humanizing scene of the fact that, hey, just because you're gay, Landon, you know I'm straight. So I don't see why the two of us just can't go down and have a drink. This reminded me of one of my favorite Landon scenes when Charles apologized for hitting him, but at the same time was like, hey, I don't want to lose you because you are so damn good at your job, but we got to keep it professional. Understand that I'm straight and you're gay, and I'm not gay and you're not straight, but we shouldn't let the sexuality play a factor in the work environment. I really, really liked this scene. I really did. I thought it was good. So we go over to Candace and Benny. Benny's showing Candace the house he's looking at on his phone. I ain't gonna lie, I had a similar moment a few weeks ago when I was showing my sister the house my mom thinks would be good for me. I really related to the scene. But he's like 400,000, that's a bit too much. That is look, I know there's a difference between Benny being cheap and being reasonable, but Candace gave him like $1 million or so, and I forgot how much money he spent on the tow trucks or whatever. So I understand him being a bit cautious because until he and Mitch get on the grind and start making money, I don't think it would be wise to blow half of your money right then and there. But at the same time, you know, it's like him and Mitch were making good money when they owned a tow company, which honestly, I don't see why they just don't rebuy the tow company, but whatever. So in any case, he's like, hey, we're going to leave this hotel. It's like, yeah. So apparently a little bird told him that Rihanna could be the one because it's like, I'll go see her tonight. It's like, wait, don't you? Yeah, I think it's a better idea to wait till tomorrow because of commission and whatnot. But, you know, it just feels like once again we're going to get a Benny versus Malone setup because, oh, Sandy wants Rihanna, but now Benny wants Rihanna. And now there's going to be a lot of friction there for no reason. But we go over to the final scene of Justin continuously calling Jeffrey and leaving voicemails, which begs the question, how many voicemail slots are in Jeffrey's phone? I know mine only has 20. Once it gets to 20, it's done. But then again, I got a straight talk phone. I don't know what kind of, upgraded phones. I don't know how many voicemails you can leave on an, up-to-date phone, if you will. So basically, Tanner shows up and starts beating the hell out of him. So, yeah, I had a good time watching the episode. All things considered, I thought it was pretty solid. I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, if you made it this far into the review, you can tell I actually enjoyed the episode for what it was. Kind of makes me wish I was awake to do a live on it, but, it is what it is. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with my score of an 8.5 out of 10? Did you think this episode was just bad? I thought we had some shining moments like Katherine in jail with Gina, Mitch talking with Landon, Hannah standing her ground against Jim and Don, basically telling them both what's what. If I'm correct, David was not in this episode. But I guess it doesn't matter because of the role he's going to be playing next week. Yeah, I liked it. And then Charles with the masseuse. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And shout out to the patrons over on Patreon. You can join in for as little as $1 a month. And with that being said, I'll talk to you soon.